Welcome to Inside Politics, a program where we bring you the up-to-date on national and international politics. I'm in your bunk, Ewok. Today on the program, we'll be assessing President Tinubu-led administration after 2 years in office. On May 29, Bola Tinubu will complete 2 years in office after succeeding Muhammad Buhari in 2023. After initial sweeping reforms, including the controversial removal of fuel subsidy, opinions are divided on the achievement of the Tinubu's administration so far. But with the cost of living and inflation, unemployment still high, many Nigerians are beginning to give up on the Tinubu's administration. However, the administration said they are on the right course. They are optimistic that reform will hit or are gradually hitting giving the right results. To assess the Tinubu's administration and democracy in Nigeria, I'm joined on the program today by Soji Adejumo. She's a frontline politician, also a professor of animal science at the University of Ibadan. He is also the National Secretary of the Yoruba Patriotic Front. And he is also the Ajiroba of Ibadan land. Good afternoon, sir, and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Nibong, and how are you doing?
Very fine, sir. Good to have you.
Yeah.
This administration will be 2 years. In maybe 3 weeks' time. So much has been said about Tinubu's performance so far in office. What is your take? He is from the southwest here, and I know the region gave him so much support. Of course, he won in other states across the country. What is your assessment of the administration or his policies so far?
Well, I will say first that it's been it's been a very unusual tenure so far for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in the sense that the administration came in without presenting a clear-cut program of action, that one could relate with and attach timelines to, and be able to, follow through and be able to engage government where necessary. But it's been, an administration that is run largely by, let me say, it's like a gunshot approach to administration. The decision is just announced. The program is just, announced. So people are not really able to effectively anticipate, effectively, and have a thought process, on, this is what is coming next. Take, for instance, the removal of petroleum
Subsidy,
fuel subsidy. Yes, everybody knew that there was need for, a radical, approach to this cankerworm of fuel subsidy that was like pouring money into a bottomless hole. But the way it was removed left, a lot of, uncertainty in its wake. So, and that created, problems. Again, the convergence of the exchange rate also came in, and it took government quite a while to, and that brought in, staggering inflation, all over.
yes,
Because the cushioning effects were not there.
yes.
So I would say the policies are good, but because government did not effectively lay down a framework for implementation, the outcomes, were not really favorable.
In the sense that you are saying that so far you are not happy with what you have seen in terms of dividend of the policy. 2 years down the line.
Yeah, you see, it has not, that's what I'm saying. You see, the outcome has not been very pleasant because let us be frank, the inflation is mind-boggling,
Yes,
and it's as if it's not going to end anytime soon. And again, we have the issue. Let's look at another looming, challenge, and that is going to be in the power sector. Now we've been told again that there's going to be another increase in the power tariffs. All of these are issues that government had needed, to effectively work out. How is government going to set up, the administration of the power sector in a manner that people will also be in a position to come in and engage government and perhaps even assist government, in pointing government in the right direction. But, these are not done. So it's like decisions are made and then we have to grapple with the after effects and then,
with the effect, leaving the
uh,
masses to suffer for the consequence of
yes, yes, there should have been a better approach to unbundling, all the things that government is, oh yes, we need to remove government in this sector, in that sector, we need to unbundle government. But even unbundling also should, be based on a template that will be progressive and also be able to proffer, cushioning uh, support, so that the the jolt, the vibrations do not overwhelm, the citizenry. Because right now, before citizens are able to effectively absorb and respond to the removal of fuel subsidy, which is affecting the transport sector, it hit, the food sector, and then the convergence, of the currency hit, all the other sectors, and the inflation just kept, galloping, and that also affected, like, for example, if you remove, if the naira suddenly, depreciates, it will involve the power sector, it involves all manners of sectors. So I would say all the outcomes, they are not really positive, for the people. But there could have been better. Like I said, the policies are intentionally good,
when
but it is in the implementation.
when the government is talking about, for example, in the power sector, we have been hearing that the government is talking about increasing tariff. Why a lot of people think that the problem with the power sector goes beyond tariff. Infrastructure is there, and the government have not actually looked at how to tackle some of the issues that have bedeviled power supply in the country, rather than focusing on tariff. So this is not only about power; it's
Exactly.
about other sectors, other policies of this administration. So when you implement policies 2 years and little little dividend are being seen with some of these policies, and the people who are directly affected are suffering. Their condition of living has become worse. Poverty is on the rise. Inflation is on the rise. So unemployment is on the rise. A lot of people tend to see that maybe the administrations don't seem to understand what they are doing in some areas, maybe like for the power, for example. Do you agree with such people?
Yeah, you see, I agree, like say 90%, because you see, the effects have been crushing, on the common man. And you see, if we are going to increase tariffs in the power sector, you first of all need to unravel, the blockages, the challenges that are making delivery of power, ineffective. And then, look at the issue of all these band A, band B, band D, and all of that. No sane country should subject its power, consumption based on, I would say such mundane, and totally ridiculous classification, because access to electricity should not just be a privilege, and it's not just going to be, based on, your location, because you are in a position of to enjoy. say 90%,
Yes.
supply.
Yes.
Therefore, you must pay, through the nose. And you see, and those who are unable to enjoy beyond maybe 4%, those who are unable to enjoy beyond 4% are also going to incur a lot of costs for those who can afford alternative powers like generators, have to pay or for petrol, for diesel, for all of that. And it is, I will say, it is not a very smart way, because all it will achieve is to squeeze out, yes, and that is achieved to just even squeeze out the little gains that government think they will make on the bandit, because a lot of those who can afford to even comfortably pay for the bandit, we're going to also look for alternative sources like solar and all of that.
Even the presidency is looking at solar.
Income will still reduce.
Even the presidency, they are looking at solar, buying solar, budgeted about billions for buying
and by
solar
the time presidency spends
another
that 10 billion naira on solar, that the money that government is spending on solar, even for the presidential villa, the electricity generated by solar is not going to be thrown into national grid. So at the end of the day, government is still going to shortchange itself. So it is better that government puts in place mechanisms that will be able to, meaningfully, intelligently, study the profile, of power generation, the profile of power distribution, and be able to come up. It's going to be futuristic. There can never be a situation whereby government will completely remove itself from some welfare sectors.
Yes, let's move because of time. Let's move away, sir. Let's talk about there are reforms. There are rumors in recent days that this administration will reshuffle the cabinet. Could you tell us one or two ministers who you feel they are not doing well, that the Tinubu's administration should look at letting go?
No. On a honest level,
what is your assessment of the ministers so far? Or how do you see the ministers?
No.
Are they doing well?
You see, as far as I'm concerned, the performance of any minister actually depends on the relationship between that ministry and the office of the president. Let me be frank with you.
Yes.
And there is no yardstick, because you really don't know, how much support this particular ministry or minister is getting, from the system. So it might be really unfair when you are not seized with the actual performance indices that relate to the ministry or the minister, that is.
All right, let's move away. Our time is fast. So let's talk about democracy. You were there in 1999 when Nigeria returned to the Fourth Republic. We had this democracy. A lot of people think we are on the right path. We are not on the right path, actually. That so much need to be done for us to get there. What is your assessment of democracy in Nigeria 25 years after? So some people said we need to look at the issue of conducting election, which we have not gotten right. Appointment of final chairman. Some said we need to look at go back to the 2024 National Confab report to find a way as resolving some of the challenges that have been able with our democracy. What is your take?
Our democracy has actually failed. And I tell you why. Reason is that Nigeria started a democracy that is absolutely, which is also, mind-boggling, is absolutely based on the power of money. Where your democracy is driven by an insane, financial architecture, and the cerebral, the intellectual, the mentally endowed cannot even move near the theater of governance.
Yes.
And you find that riffraffs, drug, our fraudulent, all manners of characters, with ill-gotten wealth, with wealth that cannot even be explained, can control the affairs of state because of the vastness of their financial resources. Then such a democracy is already doomed.
People say the way forward is to restructure Nigeria. The late Adebanjo was known for this, and we've seen even the Patriot said, without Nigeria being restructured, having also a new constitution, that some of the challenges, everyday challenges that the socio-economic problem that we see in Nigeria today, there won't be a solution. What is your take on that?
You see, you cannot you can make restructuring, yes, you can make it an academic pronouncement. But the reality on the ground is that those who are making those pronouncements are not in the theater of governance. So they don't have the instruments that can make restructuring happen. And those who are there holding the instruments, of power or restructuring are so much engaged with amassing wealth.
But the person in power
that becomes impossible.
The current president has always known to be an advocate of restructuring. Why is it that when he's in power now, we are not? Even the AP set up a committee headed by Nasir El-Rufai some years ago, and that committee also advocated that there is need for restructuring or need for Nigeria to practice true federalism.
But they had not tasted power then.
Yeah, they have not tasted power. Are you saying because they are in power now, they understand the obvious facts?
I'm saying we're running a democracy where money is the denominator, and once the eyes of the actors are now open and focused on the wealth and the resources of the nation, it's like, we have to reset the timetable. Let restructuring take a backseat. And that is, I don't know how we are going to be able to overcome that. We seem to have now become ensnared and enslaved, to a democracy that is run absolutely on money.
Do you agree we need to go back to implementation of the 2024 confab report as a way out in terms of electoral reforms and some of the everyday challenges they'll be leaving us now?
The 2024 confab report is excellent. But the problem is the person who set up that confab. Is it 2024?
Yeah, no, 2014. I'm sorry.
Yes.
2014.
The person who set up the confab was in the best position to implement it. I need to develop welfare. And that was President Jonathan.
He wanted a second time before, unfortunately.
You see, that is the issue. Why place personal interest over national interest? Now, did he get a second time eventually? He did it. So he should have had the courage. And I'll tell you this, if it was President Tinubu that set up that confab, because I've seen, the difference between President Tinubu and previous governors is that take it or leave it. He has the courage. I'm sure he will have implemented it. But now he didn't set it up. He was just an advocate of it. Now he's holding the reins of power, and he will believe that, look, if he has to do this, then it has to be based on maybe his own, parameters. So we are back to square one. The person that set up that confab, that should have implemented it, developed cold feet. And at the end of the day, they lost out. But I believe that whoever decides to hold the bull by the horns and rejig, the confab, at least put him in the political, arena,
yes,
and let it be reworked. And if possible, we can see how even the patrons can get together, take that report, rework it, present it back to government, because I'm sure government also requires support at this stage. Government requires the government itself, the government of
what support? Even with don't you think
Pardon?
the desire is the main thing? The desire. What support will the government need? if the government is not interested in anything restructuring. Even when it's over, the government is not interested in anything restructuring.
To be all knowing, all intelligent. So government also requires, this kind of I'll say extra governmental, support. So that's why I still believe that government should not be left alone to say, when let government review the confirm report. Why can't Nigerians still come together and say, look, this confirm report, government, I want you to look at this. We have looked at it. I believe that in this new framework, it can work for Nigeria. And the government respond to that.
Okay. Do you agree with people say Nigeria can overcome some of its present challenges we are facing without a new constitution and also restructuring the country? Do you agree? Do you agree?
That everybody that is saying knows that the constitution we run is extremely fraudulent, is unintelligent, it's very primitive. So we did a new constitution. But the problem is, who are going to drive the mechanism for getting the new constitution?
Let's talk about 2027 now. We've been seeing wave of defection to the ruling party in recent week. What is your take? The opposition party are becoming weaker. We see the Delta State governor defected with Okowa, Atiku's vice in the last presidential election, to the ruling party. And we've seen wave of federal lawmakers all defecting, opposition politicians moving en masse to the ruling party. What does this portend for our democracy and for 2027?
I told you that our democracy is not really a honest democracy, it's a fraudulent democracy. Those who are defecting, you will know that the way they have even done it is so shameful. You see, I don't. Everybody has they have the constitutional right, to decide to lay their allegiances or loyalties wherever they want to. But I find it extremely, it's shameful when you see a former governor leading a sitting governor, and you will know that they definitely are running away from something. Maybe there is the dangling, acts of some financial investigations and all of that, and they want to find a way, to. But all of those things are just going to be temporary. What you see, I will want somebody who has something good to offer. If they have something good to offer and they move from one party to the other, to be able to help, bring maybe sanity, bring better governance into the party, that will be absolutely welcome.
Okay.
But when you find somebody who has 28 years looting his own state dry, nothing to show for it, then it's only packs his bag and baggage, and then he's just coming to pollute.
What is your take on the coalition being planned by Atiku and some other politician, Nasir El-Rufai, to unseat President Tinubu in 2027?
You see,
what is the prospect of that coalition succeeding?
I really doubt it, because let's face it. Yes, I'll give someone like El-Rufai some level of credibility and all of that. But you see, Atiku, as far as I'm concerned, has not shown. I'm not even seeing a level of intelligence that I can reckon with in Atiku. I'm sorry, I may be wrong.
Why? You were in the PDP before. You worked with Atiku. What will you say?
Yes, I was in the. Listen, I was the PDP before, and I worked with Atiku. But at that point, when you are not too close to somebody, you don't really know, their values. But at as events unfolded, and they realized that Atiku might have the money, he might have everything, but I don't think Atiku had the mental capacity to really understand even how to his own, electoral, ambitions in a pragmatic, same way. Let me put it that way.
So you
I
are
don't
saying
see such a person.
you say
I don't see such a person leading a coalition. Pardon?
the coalition will succeed because Atiku does not have the capacity to lead, or you are not satisfied with the mobilization of members across the country or the kind of position who are joining this coalition.
You see, when APC was coming on, APC did not come on board with its sole aim. Are you getting now? Of somebody going in there for his own personal interest. APC came with the sole aim of, it is time. We just want to take over government. Let's take government from this opposition. But here, what I see in Atiku is someone who wants to be able to bring any platform that will give him another chance, another stake in contesting for the office of president.
But
And the coalition cannot be successfully built around an individual. If it was like everywhere in the world, there could be coalitions and all of that. But the immediate aim, look at the immediate past election in the local elections in the United Kingdom. Nigel Farage, that is leading the Reform Party, has not really stepped out to start looking at himself, as the next, prime minister of the United Kingdom. But evidence is showing that, there is a possibility, but they are still trying to deepen. They are to deepen, their reach, their capacity. They are still
okay.
And
isn't it possible, sir? Isn't it possible that the opposition parties are so weak, the PDP as it is, so weak, they cannot stand alone and defeat Tinubu in the presidential election? There's a need for a merger of coming together opposition position, and which is what they are trying to do.
The PDP alone, cannot do it. When ACN merged with CPC and all, ACN did not go there as, we are the elder party, we are the most senior party. They went there practically as equals, as partners. And that shows the far-reaching intelligence of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You have to give it to him. But the way they are going about it, I said it's not the kind of coalition that can, be a threat to APC.
So what do you foresee?
They are not going about it in the way that if they wanted to go about it, there are better channels, of bringing up a coalition.
What channel do you feel they should? You feel they don't have the structure across the country?
In Ebong?
Yes.
I'm not a consultant to that coalition.
So, sir, as it is now, you think Tinubu has an easy way? He will easily win in 2027?
It cannot be. No. He didn't even have an easy because in the last one. He only had 36%, but he was far more intelligent about it than an Atiku that had a clear path and bungled it.
We are heading towards one party state. Aren't you afraid of that? Heading towards one party state in 2027? If the opposition cannot come together.
A country or a nation deserves whatever political structure that happens to them, because they are the safest people that will determine. America decided to go with a Trump. Whether they like it or not, they voted him. And they have to live with the consequences. So God is not going to come and declare votes for you. So it is the Nigerian people that have the ultimate right, the ultimate powers to decide who their leaders,
So finally,
And
sir,
nobody can take that
final,
away from
final,
them.
final question, sir. What about INEC? What do you think should be done with INEC? Some of the criticism that showed the conduct of 2020 election. If you had to give suggestions, sir, are you confident in the present composition of INEC? And what should be the way forward for that decision?
You see, I think INEC has actually made a lot of reforms that are, quite encouraging and, really good. But you see, every system that is managed by human beings definitely must have certain risks and certain, challenges. Even if as long as you cannot bring in angels to run INEC, I believe the INEC that we have now has not fared too badly, because at the local election, at the local level, where people are casting their votes, fine, there could be rigging, there could be all of that, but people still find that by and large, the electoral process has given people, the electorate, more confidence and it is increasing because you see, technology has come into this exercise and it is yielding good fruits. And the more we deepen the engagement of technology in our electoral process, I think we will be making more progress. The less the progress, the electoral process, the less the electoral process depends on human mechanisms alone, but on technology that cannot be easily corrupted.
Yes,
I think
I'm not taking away the influence of the position. People said that they should remove the appointment of INEC chairman, the elect should be removed from the presidency. Those are the issues that are ahead of 2017.
You see, I may agree with you, but that I said we have a constitution that is even a problem to the Nigerian system.
All right, let's leave it from there, sir.
So
you have made your point. Let's leave it from there, sir.
Yeah, so the appointment of the INEC chairman is actually based on the letters of the constitution.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us on the program.
It could be better.
Thank you very much.
That is what the constitution,
All right. That's the program for this week.
Okay.
That's the program for this week, yes. I'll be speaking with Professor Soji Adejumo, the Professor of Animal Science from the University of Ibadan. He's also the Secretary of Yoruba Patriotic Front. My name is Senior Banki Walk. Join me same time next week for the same program.
You are watching Business Day Television.